Profanity Nation.
Yeah, it's the new era of man for some old school fans with a new school brand. We got money on the mic with the plan in hand. And Stat Pat to his left, they go hand in hand. And to the right, we got Simpster, he putting it down. It's the Profanity Nation, we running the town, yeah.
It's the Profanity Nation.
Profanity Nation.
Hey there, welcome to the Profanity Nation podcast, where we are the voice of the professional fan. We are here every week at 8:30 p.m. Pacific, and thank you for joining us. As usual, the show consists of my buddies here. Money Mike, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Let's do this. Let's do
it another episode. Stat Pat, how you feeling?
Man, we in this bitch. Let's go.
You feeling good?
Yes, sir.
Always. Okay, and Simsta, yours truly, of course. As usual, if you're part of the show, we start the show with somebody that is very special, very knowledgeable, our boy Marco Nunez. I'm going to bring him in right away, guys, okay? So let's go ahead and get Marco going here. Hey, there he is. Hey, Marco, how you doing?
Hey, everybody. Good. How's everybody doing?
Good to see you. Good to see you. So we're definitely heavy into football at this point. Heavy into football injuries and so forth, but let's start with some basketball. Money Mike had a question for you with basketball.
Yeah, so training camp, I guess, it just started. I think their first game is next Saturday, I think, or Sunday. Next weekend for sure. Forgive me. So I know you when it's off season and everybody, you kind of give everybody their own regiment to kind of get ready for the season. How many people have come in and you recognize that they didn't really work out as hard as they were, at the beginning of training camp? You know how players go, and don't name me names, but
you can if you want. We won't stop you.
I can imagine, okay, I'm expecting you to kind of come in shape, and then, how often does that happen when a player is not in the shape that they should be, at the start of training camp?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, not as often as you think nowadays. Back then, type of thing. A lot of the players are, especially the veterans, are very serious and they know what they need to do, type of thing. Occasionally, you will get a player that comes in, and their goal is to use training camp as a way to get in shape. And that's not a good thing. I mean, it's funny though, because you want to be ready. You want to be ready in shape. You will be ready to go going into training camp. You cannot use training camp as a way to get in shape, because that's when you're not gonna survive. You're gonna run out of shape. Most likely, you're gonna start developing some chronic issues, chronic injuries, whether it's like tendinitis, you may pull a hammy or anything like that. So you got to be very careful with that. And oftentimes, you start seeing it as the training camp goes. They start complaining of some issues, and you start talking to them. Okay, well, what'd you do during the off season? Well, I didn't do much, or I did this, or I did something. Not that they did something correctly, but they didn't focus on something that they needed to do. That's why usually at the end of the season, most of the sports medicine staff will get together with each individual player and say, "Hey, I get it. You may not be coming in to see us, but here's the things that you need to work with. Whether you have a personal trainer, whether you have a personal athletic trainer during the off season, these are the areas that you want to focus on." And then either the director of sports medicine, their job is to kind of, we'll go ahead and touch base with them on a monthly basis. Hey, where are you at? What are you doing? What's going on? And also communicate with whoever they're working with, type of thing. That's kind of like the critical part. So even during the off season, they don't just kind of go off on their own. We're always trying to communicate with them. Now, whether they're telling us the truth, that's a different story.
Yeah, you can imagine. I know when I've had just a regular old trainer, and then he's supposed to. He'll come in and, what did you eat last week? And you're like,
he holds you accountable.
Right.
Exactly.
So they're immediately able to tell. So I know you're able to tell. Right. So let me ask you. Okay,
and that's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
No.
Go.
There's a delay. Go ahead, Marco.
So what I meant is that's what I'm saying. You can kind of somewhat start telling when the athlete's coming in and they're not, they haven't been honest, so to speak. When they come in, we do the percent body fat and all that stuff. And if it's higher or it's somewhat the same, or you can tell when they're running up and down the court, if they're catching more of their breath, or like I said, if they start developing some kind of chronic issues that they didn't have, because now all of a sudden they're going from 0 to 60 and their body's trying to catch up to them, then that's like, okay, what's going on here, type of thing. Now, the great advantage of training camp is hopefully we have some time to try to go in and kind of address it real quick before the season begins, because once the season begins, it just becomes a catch up game.
Right.
Gotcha.
Hey, so we talked about on the show last week. This is my last question. Somebody, a very important player on the Lakers, celebrated a wedding like literally a week before training camp. And my argument on the show last week, I just want to get your opinion on it, was, look, we got eliminated in June. Like, couldn't we gotten married in like June or July, maybe even August? Why are we getting married like 1 week before training camp? Because now we have honeymoon and embracing the marriage. Couldn't we have gotten married? Wouldn't you have preferred, or does it even matter that you are doing embracement of your marriage like 1 week before? You don't have to answer that question. I'm just asking for a friend.
So yes and no. The whole thing about it is, of course, now the one thing you got to consider is the off season. That's the athlete's time. They could do whatever they want, whenever they want, type of thing. It's hard for us to dictate what they should not do. We can highly recommend what they should be doing, and we highly recommend what they should not be doing at the end of the day, type of thing. But it's up to them. Now, granted, as far as like the weekend before, even as because like I said, players usually start showing up around Labor Day weekend. And usually the weekend before we start training camp, we will recommend to players, hey, why don't you get away, go get an R&R vacation for the 3-day weekend, or do something like that, and then be ready, prepared to have your legs fresh to go. But these are the athletes that have been like training hard. They've been going hard already. And we know they've been going hard, so we kind of recommend that type of thing. As far as the wedding, what can you do?
That's a party and a half there.
Well, to his defense, I think Rob Lincoln said that he looks good. He looks like he's
done the work.
So I guess that's good news.
All right. I have a personal question for you. This involves a former Laker, and this involves off season coming into training camp. We all, being Laker fans, I think as a whole, took it very personal when Shaquille O'Neal had a toe injury and notoriously said, I was injured on work time, I'll get repaired or so forth on work time. What is the thought? I mean, come on, that as an athletic trainer, you're sitting there going, come on, right? I mean, that's BS.
Statute of limitations.
The statute of limitations already goes. Yeah, I mean that's the thing about it. And here's the thing about it is, they're pro athletes. They're getting paid millions and millions of dollars. Would it be nice for him to have gone into surgery during the off season and be ready to go for the end season? As an athletic trainer, as a head athletic trainer, that is our goal. Our goal is at the end of the season, and even as the season's kind of close to a wrap up, I'm already sitting there and kind of gauging, okay, who needs what, who needs this, who needs maybe PRP, who needs Synvis, who needs minor surgery, and I started sit down with the doc, and we start kind of like planning it out to make sure that they're ready to go by the time the training camp begins. In Shaq's case, it's kind of funny that you bring this up. I'm a little late to the game. I just started watching the what's the one with the Chicago Bulls, The Last Dance. And I think in there, one of the issues also was Scottie Pippen. Remember, Scottie Pippen had the same thing. He said the same thing. He said, "Hey, I got injured during the company's time. I'm gonna have surgery." Now, in his case, he was also he wasn't happy with his contract. He wasn't happy with the team. So I'm sure that came into effect. Did that also come into effect with Shaq? I don't know. That might be a consideration there. Maybe he wasn't already kind of happy. Maybe he had a little bit, foot out the door. Stuff was kind of already brewing, type of thing. That may have also been a consideration, or that might have been something that he took into consideration when he did that. So there's a lot of more elements and a lot of more things to consider, not just like, hey, here's what's going on. Now,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, please go.
Now, as far as if you were a regular individual, I'll ask you the same question. If you got hurt on your company time, would you take your 2 weeks vacation and be able to recover? You're like, no. Hey, I got hurt company time. I'm getting my workers' comp. It's going to be a company time. So I kind of get both this type of thing.
Nobody is paying to watch me install some.
That's true.
To me, it's more of a team type thing. Right. And it's more of that. It's more for your teammates and so forth. It's very just disheartening. I believe for them to come into camp and it's demoralizing. You're like, man, I worked my ass off all summer and you're coming in and doing that. So for me, it's a little bit more of that. It's character. It's the heart. And obviously he plays hard, but so for me, it's a bit more of that. But it's what it is.
Yeah.
The guys are going to do what the guys are
Yeah.
going to do. So,
Mhm.
Marco, thank you so much. Please let our listeners and followers know the best way to keep up to date with you and what you got going on.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. If you guys have any questions regarding sports medicine or regarding your fantasy football team as far as injuries, you're welcome to DM me or follow me on Instagram at Marco A. Nunez 17 or subscribe to my YouTube channel at Evolve Athletic Performance.
Yeah, speaking of that, man, I had Daryl Henderson, and they said his ribs, and it was questionable. Then all of a sudden, 2 hours before the game, he's out. And then I'm looking at the comments. They said he never was going to play. Like, why couldn't they have done that? I think I was supposed to say, hey, it's ribs. I should have DM'd you and said, hey, is there any chance that he's playing?
Here's the thing about that. Even if he would have played, this is the interesting part about it, is that I would have told you if he would have played, I would have told you not even to play him whatsoever. Because what's going to happen is that as a running back, if he takes a good impact to that area, he's going to probably aggravate it and he would have been out. 2, in order for them to protect that, they would have had to pat that area a pretty good amount. And as a running back, as you're running, you're holding the ball. You kind of want to feel that ball touching you a little bit. And there's so much padding he was going to be got. Now, as far as was he going to play, here's another thing consideration. Were they going to see how bad the pain was? Was he able to kind of tolerate it? And that's the other thing. If he was able to go out there and tolerate it, then hey, you go. The other option is that they might have injected him with some pain medication, try to reduce the discomfort, and then try it out and see if he can go. So oftentimes when the player's on the fence, they wait to the last minute and see how he can do, how he feels, can he run, can he move, all that stuff, and they kind of decide. But even then, same thing with what's the gentleman over the quarterback for the Dolphins, same thing, Tua.
Yeah.
He has the same injury. I mean, he's out there, a friend had asked me, should I play him? There's question, but like, no, even if he goes out there, his rotation, if you would go up and someone hits him in that rib, he's done. So he could have been on the first play, second play, and then you're out.
And he's still not going to perform at his highest with that.
Exactly. And then he's not going to perform at his highest. Correct.
Excellent.
So,
Thank you.
Next time, just shoot me a text.
I will, man. But I need, because
you have no excuse anymore.
Right. Yeah, I need to make sure I win these games, man.
We might have to do the show like Sunday morning or something, right before you set your line.
It's always Sunday night when it's too late.
Right, yeah. Like, damn it.
That's absolutely right. Good thinking. Thank you, Marco. Thank you so much.
Gentlemen.
See you next week.
Take care. Bye.
All right, guys. So talking about some injuries, talking about some other stuff going on. But we have NFL, NBA's coming. We're going to talk about that. But NFL games, and right now, today was a pretty good day for LA.
Yeah. You have the Rams beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is a lot of people are seeing is like an NFC championship preview.
Okay, big.
It was a big game. It was kind of like a statement game. It's early in the season, so you really can't read too much into it. But it is Brady. It is I think they knocked him out last year, if I'm not making a mistake. So it's like a kind of revenge thing. And then you got the Chargers, which was the big upset.
Yeah.
Of the day. They played
that was amazing. I caught the fourth quarter of that game.
They played the Kansas City Chiefs in
Kansas City.
In Kansas City, yeah. And then Herbert is showing everybody that he's the real deal. The Chargers do have a franchise quarterback on their hands. And the fact that they went into KC, got the win, that's big time.
Huge fourth quarter, right?
Yes.
Is that's obviously their best fourth quarter, or their best quarter of the season, I'm imagining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy about the game, because the Chargers were up 14-0, and you're like, okay, let's see what happens. And then you go downstairs, come upstairs. Now it's that 14-0 is gone.
It's wiped away.
So now you're like, all right, well, it was fun while it lasted, but they end up cutting out their game. So, I think a lot of that though is probably I have to admit the coaching, I guess, because last year when they had and I felt like they shouldn't have fired the coach because they lost a lot of close games, but they're winning close games now.
Right.
So there's the difference.
Yeah. Yes. So that to me,
it's a game of inches.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Literally, like it was last year. It was a complete disappointment. Like games that they should have won and they found a way to lose, and they're not doing that this year. So, shout out to everybody. Herbert and they're making that adjustment.
So if I'm right, Rams 3-0.
Yep.
And 2-1 for Chargers.
2-1 Chargers, and it sets up a good a big game. Look like already, right? So the Raiders happen to be 3-0.
Yeah.
And so the winner of next week's game on Monday Night Football will pretty much puts whoever's win that game in the driver's seat in first place. So all those two teams that we did not think that was going to be fighting out for the first place in the AFC West, the Raiders and the Chargers, are now going to be doing that. And it looks like the winner of that game, well, right now, I think the Kansas City Chiefs are pretty much now 2 games behind the first place Raiders and the Broncos, the Donkeys, in front of right there. They're 2 games behind them. So it's funny that it looked like the standings is just flipped upside down. So it's really
But like you said,
right
it's still early in the season.
It's really early. It's only a quarter of the way. I mean, not even a quarter of the way. I mean,
averages say the teams you expect to be there will be there.
They'll be there. I mean, they'll be, even if the Kansas City comes in as a wild card, they're still dangerous. I mean, so and you got to look at anybody that have championship. You know, just like basketball, just like any sport, you have championship pedigree. If you won championships, you played in the Super Bowls, and once you get into the playoffs, you just flip the switch, and you have to be wary of anybody that has that kind of, especially with a player like Mahomes as the quarterback. So
yeah, but I mean, they're like 1 and 2. So
they I mean,
but he can turn it on at any time.
I mean, let's think about it. I mean, they lost a close game. So if you're looking at the half full, half empty, that kind of thing, the same coaches, like we could easily be 2-1, but they're not, I think that the saying in football, you are your record. You can't say you're could have been, should have been, would have been,
should have, could have, would have.
You're 1 and 2.
Are your record,
you are your record. So, but I think they can take something out of that. You can't count KC out. I mean, KC has too many weapons, and they've been well coached with Andy Reid, and they got Kelsey, and it's in the Tyreek Hill, so they'll be fine.
Money Mike, are there? I know it's still early in the season, but are there any surprise teams? And I don't care if they're surprising because they're doing good or surprising because they're just in the toilet. But are there any surprise NFL teams for you right now?
That's kind of tough because I think everybody's kind of surprising. Like, I would say more players. Like Sam Darnold is balling. You know what I mean?
If anybody, we're going to talk about the team.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you think about it, like Sam Darnold went to Carolina Panthers. Right. Gave them some, stability. He's pretty much his redemption story right now.
Right.
And he's there. But that defense is really like kicking up. Like the defense is really, really good. And so that keeps him in the game, gives him a shorter field so he can play. But not to steal what you're going to say, but I will say you're saying the player, but I will also say Carolina Panther as the team. As the biggest surprise because they're also 3-0.
Right. And then the Jets are kind of like the Jets. I
mean, there's no surprise. There's no surprise. They're 0-3.
Yeah.
There's no surprise.
But what's funny about that is, it wasn't Darnold's fault.
Hey,
that's what it proves now.
That's what
right?
it feels like. It feels like that. It's kind of like the same thing with the Goff and Stafford thing.
Right.
It's kind of sucks because Stafford is now over here with the Rams and Goff is back, and it's like if Stafford was 0-3, we'd be like, damn, Stafford ain't got no help.
Right.
But now that Goff is like 0-3 and like Stafford is 3-0.
Yeah.
You're kind of like,
but wasn't that the game that was the game that the field goal game, right?
Oh yeah.
Hey man, so look, I said this off air.
Yeah, you gotta talk about.
I said this off air, and I will say it on here. Look, I think that field goal, that 66-year-old should not have. Well,
66-year-old.
I mean,
that's how you feel about it.
That's how you feel like.
Yard field goal. Come on, man. Like, isn't that a crappy way to get a record?
No.
Oh no. I'm taking all the records.
Look. That's the rule. Get it over. It doesn't mean you can't hit it. Look, he still kicked it further than anybody ever did in an NFL game. It counts.
And it wasn't in Mile High. It wasn't when.
That's like saying, the shot that Kawhi hit over Philly. That last second shot where it bounced, hit the rim, rolled, and then went in. Does that really count? Hell yeah, that counts.
Well, I know it counts, man. But, I mean, it wasn't for a record, though. It wasn't. I mean, come on, man. I mean, listen. I saw it. I think it's amazing that it bounced. I mean, literally, that's what you say. That's the way the ball bounces.
Literally.
I mean, that's literally what that was. And I'm like, man, like this guy has this record, and I guarantee if he gets to the same as that way, it would have bounced the opposite way that he did.
Probably 9 times out of 10, but it doesn't matter that one time.
Yep, that rotation of the football counts, and it rotated to get the ball into the up through the uprights.
So I mean, obviously take skill, but man, I'm just
But you know what though? Like if anybody in the league that was going to break the record, then I mean, and you think about like how many kickers have came along, especially in the last 15 years. Justin Tucker's always been up there, one of the top kickers in the league. And the fact that he's got the record to himself, and it wasn't like I said, in Mile High or something like where you can just
The air's thin.
Yeah, the air's thin.
Money Mike still will make it.
Then it's like you kick it, and then you're like, oh, I broke the record. But it's like, come on now,
But nobody else has kicked it that far in Mile High either.
Right? No, I mean I mean that's good.
So
but it's kind of like when you see track and field. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Sometimes you'll look at track and field, and it'd be like the 100-yard dash, and then all of a sudden you'd be looking like, oh, what is that? Win at it. Like this, so like win ate it, like like what win ate it, like you literally they were saying like, yeah, he broke the record, but he had some gust of wind helping him do that, and so yeah, I mean, so
it counts. It all counts.
That's like it's like
asterisk.
It's basically. I mean, the Olympics let you know they didn't put an asterisk in there, but they put like it is almost a foot mark, like a footnote.
But they actually do not recognize it as being a real record if they break it.
Yeah, same thing with the long jump.
Yeah,
they be calling that joint too. I mean, think about it. A gust of wind push you in a long jump.
Well, then they should postpone the game and the tournament.
No, they're not going to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, if your records don't count, then I don't know. That's kind of harsh.
They should have a win-aided, record, and then.
We see, we're not counting those records.
Man, look, I got it.
We're not counting those records.
But look, I screamed. I thought it was crazy. Shout out to Baltimore because. They need it. They go down the wire every game. So
yeah.
But yeah, man. I don't know, man. I think that's a real chicken way to get a record. But I think you should clear it. You know what I mean? That's just on my thing, man. I think if he would have done about 10 more leg presses, he would have been able to get it over.
Yeah. See, what I think it adds something to. Like the record, right? To me, it just feels like it's almost like this is how far the super, like the best of the best can kick a ball this further. Like you would need to beat my record, you're gonna have to be like Legatron or something, like some crazy, because like I gave it all I could and I barely broke the record. So if you break the record, then yes, I would say this. If somebody kicked a 67-yarder,
is that in a dome?
You'd be like, okay, man, go ahead and like clear that bar, man.
Is that an outdoor or a dome?
It was indoor. It was indoor. They were playing because they were playing in Detroit.
All right, so controlled.
Yeah. It's nice and 70 degrees.
Yeah, controlled environment, no wind to worry, but also not wind aided.
No.
So you can't go with that either.
No. Hey, you know what? Congratulations to him, but I just thought that was crazy. You know me. I'm tough. I'm hard on everybody.
It's not good enough. Again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, for real. I want to see him do that again and clear it. I do.
He probably does in practice.
Money
without
wants you
the
to go
pressure
ahead and do that again.
Yeah.
Don't worry. That's what half of America is going to say tomorrow. Yeah. All the haters who didn't have him in the game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like extra points, right? We can kick it 60 yards.
Bro, it's a touchdown.
Yeah. All right, step ahead.
It's literally 6 points. It's a touchdown.
We've mentioned a couple times that it's early in the season for NFL. When is the point in the NFL season when you're kind of saying this team is what they are?
I would say around 8 weeks, like the halfway mark. Like so, you start seeing when the records are like 6-2, 7-1. You know what I'm saying? Like 8-0. Like when you're like 7-2, 6-1, 6-2. Then you're like, okay, that's a pretty good team. You really can't tell after 6 games because you can go 6-0 and then lose the next 3 and be 6-3, and people are like,
yeah,
that's not. That's like,
I mean, that basically was Tampa Bay because weren't they like 3-4 and then they went on like a 6 game?
Yeah.
Winning streak, 6-7 game winning streak.
But they got the GOAT.
Yeah.
So it's like that's. They got Brady on the team. So, I mean, they can just squeak into the championship. I mean,
as long as they can get in the playoffs.
And Brady's not going to. It's not going to be on Brady. Brady's not going to make a mistake. I mean, he'll make a mistake probably, but it's not Brady in his whole career. I haven't seen him make a catastrophic mistake to hurt his team from winning in the playoffs. Like he may throw a pick early, but he's never going to throw a pick late.
Let's talk about the pick. In fact, let's talk about the pick in the fourth quarter of the Chargers game today. by Mahomes, right? That seemed a bit uncharacteristic for him to chuck that ball down there in the fourth quarter with however much time left and get that pick. What do you think was going on there?
I mean, he was pressing a little bit.
I was saying pressure, but isn't that?
But that's Mahomes, though.
But see,
I mean, and what I mean by that, he always presses. Like, but those receivers make that play.
Yeah, they do.
You know,
I'm just so happy that it's like give the boy time, like because everyone wants to make him the next coming of Brady or whomever.
Everyone's quick to find the next hero,
and he's supposed to be that guy. And I'm just like, okay, he's a great talent. He's good. I mean, he's probably. If he wins a couple more Super Bowls, he's going to be in the conversation. It's going to be kind of hard to be in the conversation of that, especially. And this is like when we use the criteria in basketball. Like I always tell people, like LeBron James is the best thing that ever happened to him is that he did not make it to the championship in 2009. Couldn't no matter what it would have happened, he would have lost head to head with Kobe, and that would have hung over his head his whole career, and he wouldn't have the same career because you didn't beat Kobe,
and he would never had a chance to get out.
Never would have been able to get out of it. You would never had another shot. It's just like when Magic and Jordan met in 91, and Magic like lost the game and he lost it, and we're thinking like, okay. Hell yeah, we got Sedale 3. We coming back. Like, we got Sedale 3. Like, Sedale 3, man, was that dude. Obviously, we know he was that dude because when Magic couldn't play, Sedale 3 held it down. Mm-hmm. So you know what he would have did coming off the bench for us, right? With a Magic Johnson in front of him, we were ready to go. We were ready, retooled. We were ready to go. Magic didn't play. And so Magic never got the opportunity to go ahead and have that redemption because remember in his career pretty much Dr. Dre beat him, he beat Dr. J. Bird beats him, he beats Bird.
Yeah, they went back and forth.
Isaiah beats him, he beats Isaiah.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody like Mahomes and going back to Mahomes and Brady already beat him head to head. The GOAT beat you already head to head. You will never be able unless you play him again this year.
Unless you get him back.
Unless you get him before. But if Brady goes out with 8 championships and one of those 8 championships against the heir apparent, you would never be able to get to be the GOAT. He would just could because that would be held over him. So, but I'm just saying, like, I'm like the fact that he's now showing everybody that he's human. He's human, man. He's going to make mistakes. And now the league is kind of like knowing what he's going to just expect the unexpected. Before we was like, oh, he can't do that. He can't do that. And then all of a sudden he does it. So now people are treating him like, okay, you're a magician. I'm going to go ahead and let you go ahead and do all this stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and just, sorry, guys. We don't curse here on the show. Here we go. Sorry about that. But anyways, we're talking football. But I just think that he is showing right now that, like you said, he was pressing. And now the fact that we got some tape on him, now we know who he is. And I think right now people are not scared of Casey anymore. That being scared of KC is kind of done. And I mean, you can see the Chargers beat them. The Chargers.
They took some great fourth quarter play, but they did.
Chargers
they did go in there and they beat them. That's for sure. All right, everybody, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back, and when we do, we're going to discuss our favorite team and, of course, our favorite sport guys. We're going to discuss NBA. So we will be right back. Do not go anywhere.
The Profanity Nation is now the official podcast of the Los Angeles Lakers fan club on Clubhouse. Be sure to join, over 5,000 strong and growing. Also, text Lakers to 22828 for a chance to win a free t-shirt. Again, text Lakers to 22828 for a chance to win a free t-shirt.
Hey guys, so one of our sponsors, really comes in and really helps us out here and there, and that is Pure Life Alternative Wellness Center, located in Chatsworth, California. They've got everything you need to chill out. They've got the CBD products. They've got everything you need just to hang, to relax, to max out. You definitely got to go by there in Chatsworth, California. Pure Life Alternative Wellness Center. Tell them the Profanity Nation sent you and say hi. Also, got to give credit to our studio here. The Good News Network Good News Radio Network, Good News Sports. That's our home. We don't mention it enough, but that is our home. That's where we record our show. That's where we are coming to you live from. And they are awesome. Michael, Keith, everybody here is awesome. Our family. Soon we're going to be moving to a whole new studio. It's going to be brand new. It's going to look sweet. So things are moving, things are growing, and we couldn't be happier to be part of the family here. If you don't already have it, you need to download the app. It's the Good News Radio app, TGN, and you can see the logo behind us, the Good News. You will see that online, and there are great shows on there. They have technically 3 channels. They have a Latin channel, all Spanish speaking, which is incredible because that's definitely needed out there.
Yes.
Then they have TGN Sports and just TGN The Good News, which is basically talk shows. So really great stuff. They're our family. They're our friends, and you got to check it out. So if you don't already have the app, be sure to download it. That's for sure.
That's right.
All right, guys. So, okay, so we talked NFL, but, our favorite, what this show started on. It's coming, guys. It's already back.
Yes.
And what's weird about this one is that we've had an extended time off.
Yeah.
Because we were eliminated early. The NBA is coming back. The first preseason game is next week, guys.
Yes.
And it starts with a bang. Now, we know this is preseason, but it doesn't matter. It starts with the show. The NBA decided to go right after it and go right into finals preview with this NBA preseason. And that is the Lakers versus the Nets, believe it or not. The Lakers versus the Nets are going to play next week. I have no idea what we expect the lineups to be or minutes wise, but I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. What do you think we're going to see over there, Money?
Well, here's my question: is it a home or away game?
It's a home.
Well, okay, cool. Well, at least Kyrie's
gonna play.
Apparently, Kyrie's playing.
That's where you're getting. I got you.
Kyrie's playing then, right?
Because he can't play.
Because he can't play. He can't play in New Jersey.
That is a weird situation.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
we'll get to that.
Other than that, look, it's a preseason game. It's going to be all the people trying to make the squad, even though everybody's already made the team, because we already traded for everybody that wasn't on the Nets that you want. So, listen, I think it's going to be good to get to run back, get used to the NBA coming back. That's my favorite sport.
Mm-hmm.
Love to report on that. Love to talk about it, but it's nothing to see here other than Kyrie playing or not playing.
Actually, seeing stat. I actually disagree with Money, and I'm going to ask you. I think there's plenty to see here. This is a brand new squad.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a bunch of time. They're not going to just wait for the season to build that chemistry. They need to get at it, right?
Yeah. It's funny though, because like normal times, right? You will have like those guys that barely going to make the squad, right? And like Money was saying, like everybody that's going to be on squad is on the squad. So guess what? Y'all got to play. So hey, y'all say we old. That's fine. We're old, but guess what? Trevor Reed's going to be playing minutes.
Yep.
He can't go anywhere. Malik Monk, you'll see him. A little dose of him. Rondo, you get ready, bro. You're going to be playing some minutes.
Rondo is not playing.
Dude, how many people are going to be playing, dude?
Hey, Rondo's not playing.
Okay, so you're going to go ahead and have like 5 people playing 48 minutes?
I mean, look.
They're so deep with players that you're still going to see players you want to see in a Lakers uniform.
Y'all know the roster be like 19 people.
Okay, well, you're going to be with a bunch of Austin Reeves.
Training.
It's going to be a bunch of Austin Reeves.
Yeah, right. You know
what I'm saying? There's going to be a bunch.
But they're not starting the game.
THT.
Are they going with their starting lineup?
No. LeBron is not suit
Well,
up.
I mean, you don't think they're going to suit up? At least
I don't think it. Look, please, AD, do not suit up. Because, please.
Okay, so
please.
This whole
I'm begging
because
you,
okay, so the first time you see him is the opening night.
Listen, can I see him like the game right before? Right.
So just keep him in the bubble wrap until then.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, don't break open the glass.
Don't break the glass.
Yeah, you gotta keep him in bubble wrap.
Okay, no, you got to play him. You got to get him out there. You got to build the chemistry. You got to. You know what? You can't keep the kid in bubble wrap his whole life. You just got to go after it and go play.
But what chemistry are you talking about? Like Rondo's coming off the bench. Rondo and Nate, he loves.
We're talking about the starting 5. I mean, you still got to see what Russell looks like with LeBron. And
who is the starting 5? We don't even know exactly.
Okay, let's go.
They need to figure that out.
Real quick. If you had, let's go, Mike.
Yeah. Since this is all set already, who's the starting 5?
The starting 5
on opening night, not preseason?
Well, you have the 3 already, right? You have AD, LeBron, and Westbrook, Right?
Okay.
So who is? I guess they probably could go with none.
Probably or are going to.
Yeah, I think they're probably going none.
How are they going to know that unless they played that squad in preseason?
They got practice.
Practice. You're talking practice?
Yeah, practice.
We're talking practice?
Not the game.
Yeah.
Not the game.
I mean,
We're talking about practice, man.
I mean, you already know. I mean, okay, look. And then who's my other forward? Let me see.
Hey, I mean, look, dude.
I think the forward position is the only one that's kind of.
If it was obvious, I'd say okay. But if it's not obvious, then you need to see what fits. And they're going to have to. Now, I don't think they're going to play them whole games, but I think they will play different lineups for maybe 5 or 6 minute stretches.
And that's what they can do. They can try to put DeAndre Jordan at the center and then have AD as a forward.
And just see how it goes.
Yeah, and see where it goes.
Do you think DeAndre Jordan is going to start over Dwight? I wouldn't do it. I'm like, I wouldn't do it. Like, I wouldn't put him. Now, I say Dwight will start, but I'm not starting Dwight over DeAndre. DeAndre is definitely my backup center. Like, he's definitely the backup center.
Okay, I'll ask you this.
He's third center.
I actually think the better question is who will average more minutes as opposed to who starts.
I think Dwight.
Okay, so, I mean, if you're the player, what's more important to you?
The ring.
Well, but averaging more minutes or starting the game?
No, I mean,
especially both of those players, they could care less.
Yeah, JaVale McGee started over Dwight before.
He could care less.
I mean,
it's the minutes they want to play.
I just think that first of all, if Russell Westbrook, LeBron, and AD isn't on the court at the same time, and you add a center, put like Dwight or DeAndre Jordan in there, that spacing is going to be atrocious. So I don't even know how they, what I'm saying? That's why I'm thinking that we're going to have to see what they look like when they go play some, because I just don't see how they're going to be able to not clog the middle when everybody's trying to get into the paint except AD. And AD doesn't want to be a stretch forward, does he?
Forgive me, but that sounds like they need to figure some stuff out, and that's what preseason's for.
All right, well, cool. Y'all go figure some stuff out. But, look,
you just don't want him to get hurt.
Yeah, please. Just, did he learn how to fall in all season?
I mean, first of all, he falls all the time.
Yeah, so
just stay on. Can he learn how to stay on his feet?
No, he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that.
And you see, he's he has those stretch pants, and the stretch pants have knee pads on them,
right?
And he's still getting hurt,
right? So
he's grown too big for him.
My God,
look, I don't know what it is.
My God, just need some milk.
I think they could just
drink some, dude.
Listen, they'll play into their chemistry. I wouldn't want to show the Nets anything. The Nets shouldn't want to show us anything. I mean, this is what they're. I mean. Everybody thinks that this is the finals matchup except for Jokic. So,
Jokic and Giannis.
Okay. Mike.
Yeah.
You went from this game is meaningless to the Nets and the Lakers don't want to show each other anything. Look, I think both of them know that they're not putting strategy of how to defeat it, but they are going to try their lineups and so forth. But I don't think the first preseason game, they're going to pull out their secret weapons and expect.
I mean,
I'll just give you a hard time, but I don't think
you're
so.
Right. Look, this is not a Laker Sacramento King. After we beat you in Rick Fox preseason game,
and Doug Christie.
Yeah, Rick Fox, Doug Christie,
Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah,
the star.
Yeah, right. So this is not it. Look, I'm happy that basketball is back. We're going to, go out there and get it. And I think that they probably need to figure out how they're going to play without Kyrie. That's their biggest thing because Kyrie,
they kind of did that last year, right? When he did play, didn't want to play. Now, of course, they didn't make it to the finals, but
we need some more sage.
It's got to burn some more sage.
Yeah, need some more sage in there.
Got to burn some more sage.
Hey, but let me ask you guys a question, man. Since we're talking about the Nets and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a rumor. I'm not sure how strong the rumor is, but there's a rumor right now for Ben Simmons for Kyrie.
Come on, dog.
Right? No. Seriously, serious question. So and you guys know that in the news that Kyrie doesn't want to get the vaccination, and per the NBA guideline, you're not allowed to play your home games or practice if you are in a city that has the protocol, and
requirement,
which is New Jersey and the Warriors, right? So if I'm just asking a question, if I am the Nets GM and I look at this guy Kyrie, who last year just decided that he was going to take a day off
because the Earth is flat.
Because the Earth was flat,
Basketball reason.
Right. So now I have a guy that, look, I'm not trying to give an opinion about, CDC and vaccines. We're not even talking about that. But the rule is what the rule is, right? So do I trade Kyrie for Ben Simmons because I'm just tired of dealing with Kyrie? And I know I'm going to have Ben Simmons over there playing potentially all the games versus not having Kyrie play half the games potentially.
So we're got to assume that COVID is going to stay forever. And, the need for a vaccine is going to be there all the time. Because if we're just saying that it's just right now, this year, all right, punt. You know what I'm saying? Just what it is. Like, what you got 1 year. We're on some BS right now. Is it going to happen next year? Because remember, you traded for Ben Simmons. Now Ben Simmons got to be the one that you're going to carry you for the next 3 to 4 years. I don't know.
And you're getting paid.
I don't know.
Okay, but look, I don't think that that's a bad trade because, well, listen. First of all,
wait a minute, you didn't even say all that. Now, okay, now we're really going to talk about it now. Let's talk about it.
Look, current events, man. How many games does Kyrie normally play?
60.
Right? Ben Simmons has been pretty good, like in the previous season.
Okay.
Yeah, right? One of Ben Simmons' problems is they made him a guard, and that is not his position, right? Well, James Harden has no problem controlling the ball. None. Zero, right? So
he's just waiting to jump on.
Now we have. Now we have.
I'm hearing all this. I'm hearing all of it.
Hold on. Now we have Ben Simmons, great defensive player. Would you agree? Yes. And he's able to move to his normal position and be able to shoot layups with no problem. So I don't think it's a bad trade.
Okay. You saw the playoffs, right?
I did.
You saw the playoffs. You saw with no Harden how they were just destroying the Bucks. Destroying the Bucks. They were not playing with the Bucks. They were destroying the Bucks, dude. Yeah. It was just him, Kyrie, the guy that's Ben Simmons like, and straight up KD. They didn't even need Harden. And you saying that you take off that, they're going to do the same thing to them. I don't know if you guys seen the highlights of that series when the Bucks played the Sixers, and he just basically, Giannis just dunked all over something and called him a baby. He's a baby. He literally said after he dunked on Simmons, he's a baby. And if you look at that, he said he was an effing baby. And I'm just saying, you want me to trade when that monster right there, Giannis, is going to be in the way, and I got him already looking at him like lunch food? Nah, man, not going to do that. Now, I know who strikes fear in their heart is Kyrie and KD because he was just a toe away from actually sending his butt home. So I'm just saying, if we're talking about COVID and vaccines and this year, and we just saying this year, I can probably go with that. But you're saying it's not a bad trade. Like, they literally not going to be losing that trade. They trade Kyrie after, Kyrie also, it's going to be controversial, but hear me out, though. Kyrie almost probably hit the biggest shot in NBA history, the biggest shot in the finals NBA history. You know that, right?
Yeah, I did.
And Ben Simmons can do that? He can get to the rack, though. He can get to the rack with ease. He can get to the rack, though.
He get that layup. He get that layup.
Kyrie could get those layups.
Dude, and break ankles.
He's probably the best finisher at the rim.
Oh, my God.
All right, cool. So what you're saying is
let him be him.
Okay, so
you knew what you traded for.
So I just want to make sure you're clear. So what you're saying is, okay, cool. If he does not get the vaccine,
Phil Jackson.
If he does not get the vaccines, he's only going to be eligible to play 41 games. If he get injured, will
not be eligible to play any playoff games.
No playoff games.
Hey, man.
So are you? No, he can play playoff games on the road.
No, he won't.
No, not at home.
Then just don't get home for the.
Yeah,
don't get home court advantage.
Don't get home court advantage.
Dump that shit.
So
we don't want that.
So you're telling me? You're telling me the strategy is to not get home court advantage
Kyrie's getting that vaccine, dog.
Man, listen.
He's getting that vaccine.
Listen.
Man,
Wiggins.
Okay.
Wiggins is trying to get the Look, they're basically not playing, man. Like Wiggins was trying to get the religious exception. NBA said nope. So they got 90% of the people that have vaccination on Tennessee. Even Enes Kanter, who is the Muslim, was like, "Yo, we need to get the vaccine because it helped people save lives, everything." So they're not going for that. If this dude, keep in mind, he said the Earth was flat. Keep in mind, he said this dude. Keep in mind, this dude literally. I'm not talking about his play. His play is amazing, but I'm talking about his mental. Like this dude has decided to take off and then wrote a letter saying, "This is the reason why I don't want to talk to the press." Based off things that he said. Now, hold on. The press is a lot hard on a lot of players, but everything that he got from the press, he
brought on
deserved
himself
because he started. He went at them first.
Yes. All right. Nobody is going to argue for Kyrie's mental stability.
Right.
Okay. That's not the point. But do you think he does bring it on the court? And I actually think that the NBA will back down, believe it or not.
Yeah.
They're not going to let their stars sit. This is a star-driven league. They control the league. This is
but look, LeBron, all them, they all got the vaccine.
But you know what's funny how the NBA did it though. The NBA's think they slick though. They like, okay, we're not gonna. We saw how the backlash that the NFL was getting with this vaccinating thing. We're not gonna do that. What we're going to do is say we're gonna put the onus on the city. That to play like
we're going to uphold New Jersey's policy.
That's all we're doing.
Sorry, Kyrie. It's not on us.
And it's like, and then you start thinking about like all the players and like cities you got to play in. Like imagine like Los Angeles, New York, and you're thinking like, damn. I mean, look at my schedule. I'm only going to play, and it's like, and you're not getting paid for those other games though. So you're just not going to be able to play those. You're not going to get paid for those games you missed.
I don't think that's going to fly.
I mean, the NBA
the Players Association
is so strong.
You see,
they're already probably coming up with a defense right now.
We don't want to go. I know look. We don't avoid topics, any topic, vaccine or political topics. It's not what the show's about. We don't avoid that here on the Profanity Nation. But that's just not what we're talking about tonight. But I just think. I don't know. With
the question, okay. Basically, the question is, who's going to fold first? Is it going to be the league or the player?
I think it's going to be the league based on the Players Association is going to say this. I know for a fact that some bigger companies that everyone was saying was going to demand vaccines are actually holding back, and the reason why is because legally it was not a requirement originally when you were hired. So if you're a new hire, yes. Now, this is not in the Players Association. Dude, they don't bend. They're like the hardest to mess with.
Of them.
Yeah, and look, they're not going to let him not get paid. They're going to say, look, he's ready to play. It's not his fault. It's this fault, and he shouldn't be forced to do it at this point. Unless they adopt it as part, and I don't see that happening. So he's getting paid.
I just want to know, how do they walk it back? You know what I'm saying? How do they come out with this strongly and then walk it back, saying like, okay, like essentially blinking, like how do they go ahead and now say, okay, we were just playing, like really you don't need the shot?
Well, I think what the only choice they can do is say, based on negotiations, we're going to ease in the program. And that would be it. Just ease in.
Well, I wouldn't say ease in, but they can.
They'll word it nicely, and
they have some BS. But in the end of the day, it'll be hush hush, gone. Don't hear it anymore. Yeah, let's just get to playing games.
Because I mean, either you're gonna mandate it or you don't. Like that's don't play around and get coy and start like no.
It's not even fair anymore because certain teams in certain cities have to, other ones don't. I mean, and now you're kind of affecting trade value because or free agency, because let's say COVID continues, a player can say they don't want to go to that city because of the COVID regulations that they have.
Wow. That's wild.
And I won't be able to play for my team if I mean, that's really crazy.
That's wild.
Look,
that's wild.
I honestly think that they should just probably go back to, we're going to test you every day.
And then test them, dude. That's just test them. And then you're just asked out because you need to be in protocol for 2 weeks.
Right.
That's it, man. Like, that's what it is. Now, and then have the people decide the players, if they are vaccinated, if they don't want to play, that's on them. Like, give them that out. That's on them. But if you're not vaccinated, you don't have to be vaccinated. If, you know what I'm saying, to me, I can care less. Like, I'm gonna do me. Do
Right.
you, I'm gonna do me.
Right.
But when I hear the word mandate, that's when it kind of get like, okay, so it's mandatory. All right. So how do we feel about that? All right. So we got these, just basically like you said, we're going to go ahead and test you guys like we were in a bubble. If you got COVID, you just out. That's it.
I think that's the best way, because we all know also with a vaccine, while they say you may not get as sick and you may not pass it to as many, you can still pass it. So the only way to be sure is to test. It's not even the vaccine. It's really to test players and to make sure.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. They probably just should set up in-house testing center.
What they need to do is they need to really, honestly, again, these topics are crazy. What they need to do is they've put so much time, so much money into the vaccines. Very important. Agreed. Now they need to put time and money into helping people who have long haulers, number one. And then time and money into easy, quick tests. So you can literally, it's not friggin' this, wait. Any amount of time, just take it at home, take it easily, easy test, accessible, cheap. Everyone can get them, just like you can get a stick of gum. And within a second, whether you have it or not, just stay home, stay away, you're good.
Yeah.
And that's just so many tests, so easy to get, and just make them easier and quicker so that people, because everyone, the people that say they don't want a vaccine is one thing, but the people say, oh, I don't want to even do the test. You're like, oh, come on, man. That's just
it's wild.
Yeah, that's just a swab.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be responsible in some way.
Yeah, that's just a swab. I mean,
you can't just go rogue.
Right.
I'm not doing nothing. That gets kind of tough. At some point you got to draw a line. But yeah, I just think if they can make the vaccine that quick, they can make a quick, speedy, easy test. And let's do that. And then everyone get tested.
The fact that we're still dealing with this for this season, like this is the third season we had to deal with COVID, and that sucks. I mean, I just want to get this behind us, so we can go back. I mean, look, I'm gonna tell you right now, though, sports don't care, though. As you can see, these
college,
these stadiums are, oh my God, especially college. These stadiums are packed. So, I mean, it's what it is, man. I mean, we're just gonna go ahead. We're gonna play these sports. We're gonna watch these sports. I'm happy we got fans in. Look, dude, it's just a better product. I mean, yes, of course. Like, okay, I'm sounding irresponsible. No, man. Look,
man.
I like looking at sports with players. I mean, with fans in the stands.
You know what? You truly do appreciate the sixth man.
Oh my God, dude! As you can see, any sport, man. Look at football. It's just such a better product. I mean, it's just such a better product.
It's the energy, and the energy. So a lot of times, probably the energy was the guy that 66-yard field goal.
Hey, you know how it is. Fools in the bubble, they breaking all kind of records, and then they came out the bubble, and somebody saying shoot. They get scared. They don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Totally different. Totally different.
No, you definitely. I mean, listen. That's why you love the game, because you want to be able to interact with the players.
Yeah,
jumping into, you get a touchdown, you jump in.
Lambo leap, and ain't nobody in there.
Yeah.
all right, guys. So before we move on to our favorite segment that always ends the show, I was hopping online surfing, and I saw a comment. I'm just going to paraphrase, and this was Ballmer. Somebody was interviewing Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, and he was saying that the Lakers are a fantastic franchise. Fantastic, wonderful, historic. However, Laker fans have to be scared of the Clippers now.
Of what? What? For what?
Good question.
Okay, cool. I'm scared. I'm scared of Kyrie. Whenever he decides that he wants to go, I mean Kawhi. I'm scared of Kawhi whenever he decides that he wants to come back and play.
Yeah, I still can't get over the groundbreaking.
No timetable. So
right.
Let's just say that there's no timetable when he's coming back.
Right,
he ain't coming back next year. So
how can a man who was so successful be so delusional?
I mean,
hey, he's a fan.
And he's a big time fan.
He's a fan. He's the owner of a team. He wants him to be great. I mean, I think
Who's more realistic, Clipper Darrell or Steve Ballmer?
Clipper Darrell.
Oh boy, and that's saying something, guys. Clipper Darrell, we love you. You know that.
100%
I mean, I love Clipper Darrell, man.
100% Clipper Darrell.
Clipper Darrell.
Because Ballmer doesn't even understand. Really, he's complaining about the fans, how the fans are basically, we're worried about them, and I'm like, how are we worried about you, bro?
Yeah.
Dude, the Lakers live rent free in your head,
Oh my
man.
God.
Look. The reason why you brought Clipper Darrell, the reason why I love Clipper Darrell is like this because he's that true like in family, right? You protect your family, you don't let nobody talk about your family at all. You know what I mean? So if
Until they're divorced.
If I go in there and talk about anybody in his family, he ain't gonna let me talk about him. We going toe to toe. But guess what? It's just me and him sitting around talking. Yeah, you messed up, man. You know what I mean? You get that real. So he'll tell you, man, like, I've had other conversations with Clipper Darrell. Hey, he'll say, yeah, I was hurt by that move. Or, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's what the real is. Clipper, Ballmer really believes that Paul George is worth that money.
Yeah, dude. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think he should be worried about, like, Are the is Paul George and Kawhi Leonard going to be there when they open the building?
We really don't think so.
I mean, so that's another thing. Like, so you worried about us? No. You didn't win.
They weren't that excited to even be there.
Man, dude,
they were opposite of excited. And Kawhi,
you know what happened? These fools literally probably got invited to the wedding. And they couldn't go to the wedding because they had that stupid ass event. So they're sitting there pissed off because they're looking at the Instagram blowing up on their phone.
With Ralph Tresvant.
And these fools are there. They're just like, damn, Adele came? What the hell? Like, what I'm saying? Like, everybody up in there. Like.
That was the event of LA.
Yeah, dude. Up here and they seem like, nah,
yeah,
man.
I mean, everybody was there.
Streetlights.
Yeah,
they're like streetlights over whatever.
LA our way, though.
LA our way.
LA our way.
And they took away Church's chicken.
They do. That place, like you said, I drove past it, I think is boxed up. That's over there across from SoFi where they're building the new stadium. It's just gated off there. Okay, so if you are a fan of the show, and if you're not, why not? But if you are a fan of the show, then you know darn well what time it is. It is time for the segment that we all call Money Mike's Out of Bounds. And what that is Money Mike is going to go ahead and share his opinions or thoughts on a topic. And he just wants to know if his thoughts are in bounds or out of bounds. Money Mike, you got it.
Hey, so let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys know a Haley Crumble Home? Haley Crumble Home.
I wish I did, dog.
Are you sure that's how it's pronounced?
That's how it's pronounced.
Crumble Home.
Yes. No. I'll spell it for you. Just make sure. CROMBLEHOLME.
Okay.
Haley Crumble Home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you guys don't know who she is. I'm going to introduce you to her.
We're going to find out.
She is a reporter out of the Utah area. And she went over to talk about the vaccine mandates over in the Utah, at the Utah Stadium. And she went and got a random guy that happened to be around the stadium and said, "Hi, would you like to have an interview?" He said, "Sure." He says, "Well, what's your name?" He said his name was Jordan Clarkson. She said, "Can you spell it?" He said, JORDENCLARKSON. He says, "Hey, have you gone to any Utah Jazz Jazz games?" He says, "Yes, a lot of them." And she continued to ask him what he thought about the mandate. Right. So this is the reporter out of Utah that does not know who the sixth man of the league is for the Utah Jazz team. Now, am I out of bounds that they need to get a reporter that knows what they talking about, knows something about the league, the basketball team, what they're going to have some background? I could understand possibly if she does not recognize him, but at minimum, she should know the name.
No.
So am I out of bounds that these newscasters, these news studios need to get somebody out there that actually know about the sport that they reporting?
No, it was an embarrassment. Like I would say that you're not out of bounds. You're like totally inbounds. I mean, you inbounds. I mean, because if you are, first of all, let's be honest here, it's Utah, so it's not like a lot of stuff going on. It's like you don't have a lot of stuff on your mind for you not to know who the team like of the city is. I mean, it's bigger than BYU football. There's no baseball team. You know what I'm saying? You don't have an NFL team. You only have BYU, Utah football, maybe the Utah State Aggies, and straight up the Utah Jazz. You don't know the best players on the Utah Jazz, and you are going to interview this player. It makes no sense. It's like I said, it's an embarrassment, and the fact that he's just playing. With
I
her.
love that.
He's just playing. With
I always
her,
love Jordan, but he's just going along with it. That is beautiful,
dude. And he's just stringing her along, and she's just, and that's on just for that, just for her to be a meme. Just for all of that.
So
and look, guys, I wanted to go ahead and preface this. This has nothing to do with men and women. I'm not sexist or anything like that. We're not going to go there. But
we didn't say that. You just said knowledgeable.
I'm sorry. That person does not deserve the job. And don't give me this that she deserves an extra chance. I don't care who it is. If you are commentating on somebody in the area and your job is to do it in sports, and you went to go to talk to people of the Utah Jazz and you do not know anybody on the Utah Jazz, you can't come back. You can't come back. You can't come back. So yes, I think you're inbounds, and I think it's an embarrassment, and she should lose her job. She's not qualified.
Hold on.
Spell it. Jordan Clarkson. JordanClarkson.
Oh, did you go to any Jazz games?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah,
that is terrible.
Yeah, like all of them.
I go to every home game.
All of them. They pay my checks.
A few of them, yeah.
No, just kind of like, what do you think?
Are you rocking with me?
Yeah. You're inbounds, man. That's like there's like what it's come down to these days. First of all, I don't know what she looks like. Maybe she's a pretty face, and they're so just putting out a pretty face. I don't know, but yes, you have to have some kind of background, some kind of knowledge, and even if you don't do a little homework, just a little bit of homework. But I applaud. I think the star of this one's Jordan Clarkson. I applaud him for just going at it. I think that's hilarious, and I think I would have done the same. I would have milked it for whatever I could get from it.
There's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that.
I mean, you know what though? Look, I have to say she made fun of herself to try to have damage control, which
because you know why?
That's your choice.
She tried to get ahead of the story.
That's a good thing.
That's what I mean. At least you learned that in journalism school. Like she tried to get ahead of the story, and so what happened was she's like, okay, I know I'm going to be a meme anyway. At least let me go ahead and throw this out there.
She gonna create her own.
And I'm getting flamed because I put myself out to be flamed instead of y'all finding out later.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
There it is.
She's gonna keep her job.
There's a picture. We'll post that on Instagram. All right, everybody. Great episode, you guys. Another great week in the can. This is perfect. We will be back next week, and next week, of course, we expect a big night because that is preseason game,
man.
and nobody's going to be playing, so everyone's going to be sitting on the bench listening to the Profanity Nation podcast.
That's right. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see all these the fillers, man. I can't wait to see
it's going to be great. Actually, all the fillers are actually great players this time.
I can't wait to see the fillers.
We get to see this Laker team for the first time, and I think we're all excited. So we'll be back next week like we are every Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Pacific. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Twitter now has live feed. TGN for sure. Like I said, the Good News Radio Network. And if you want to participate in the show, meaning you want to, you have a comment, you have a question, or just something or a topic you want to discuss, the spot to do that is what you want to do is you want to get on the Clubhouse app. You want to join the Los Angeles Lakers fan club room with over 9,000 members. We stream there live every Sunday night. We're streaming right now. They're listening. They're there. You could be there. You could be telling us how great of a show we have or how horrible. We'll listen to both. We don't care. We'll listen to it all. We're open to all the topics and opinions. So be sure to get back to us and join us next week again. And thank you very much on behalf of Money Mike, my boy Stat Pat, yours truly, Simsta, Marco Nunez. Thank you for joining us. He'll be back next week, and we will see you guys.
Peace.
Profanity Nation.
A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
The Profanity Nation is now the official podcast of the Los Angeles Lakers fan club on Clubhouse. Be sure to join, over 5,000 strong and growing. Also, text Lakers to 22828 for a chance to win a free t-shirt. Again, text Lakers to 22828 for a chance to win a free t-shirt.